Greetings, family. Greetings. June Allen here. Let me just get an Instagram fired up. I hope you're all doing well. Hello, Instagram. I hope you are well. It wouldn't let me put a title in there today. Okay, so let me see if it's going to let me do it. Okay. Okay, so it's letting me do that, but is it going to let me? For some reason, it didn't let me put a title in it today. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, so that's there. So let me turn Bob Marley off. So hi everybody, for those of you that don't know me, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach black women how to heal from addiction to self-hate with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So today's topic is all about, it's 3 questions for wounded daughters that are going to help wounded daughters to, my laptop, excuse me, my laptop is starting to do some really strange things. So it keeps jumping from page to page when I need all my notes for this broadcast. So anyway, I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, so sorry about that. So today's topic is all about how to, it's 3 essential questions for wounded daughters. With all the anxiety and stuff, it's going to be UK Mother's Day in a week and a half's time. So there's a lot of feelings that generally come up for wounded daughters around that stuff. So I wanted to do this broadcast because I think it's important for I want you to ask yourself these 3 important questions around Mother's Day, and it's about, you keeping yourself safe, around reparenting, all of that stuff, and not just kind of I wanted to help you to respond to it, to be intentional about it, rather than just react to it. Hi Rob, thanks for joining. But before I get into the content, I am going to go through some housekeeping. So the first piece of housekeeping is that this Saturday I'm going to be doing a virtual masterclass on surviving Mother's Day, how to reparent yourself over the whole weekend, how to actually plan the day itself, how to set boundaries for yourself and for your family members and your mum as well, and stuff like that. There's 15 tools that I'm going to be sharing. There's more actually, but the ones that I was the main ones I'm going through, there's kind of like 15. So there's 15 different tools that are going to help you plan out the day doing the day on your terms. There's also going to be some information about aftercare, and not just kind of getting back into the whole busyness thing after Mother's Day. It's actually giving yourself some time to reflect and all of that kind of stuff. So the aftercare part of Mother's Day is really important for wounded daughters. So there's that as well. If you attend live on Saturday at the workshop, it's going to be at 10 o'clock London time. It's online, so wherever you are on the planet, you can join. It's only going to be £10 if you actually join live. If you want a copy of the replay, obviously it's going to be more money. But if you click the link heal.juneallen.net, that's heal.juneallen.net, you can get a copy of the replay if you can't actually attend live. So I'd love to see you if you're struggling, if you've got a difficult relationship with your mum and you want to know what to do about Mother's Day, how to go about it, how to set the boundaries, how to take care of your inner child, all of that kind of stuff, then this workshop is going to be for you. So so go to the link if that is going to be something that you're interested in. So the second piece of housekeeping is that I have the Bell Hooks Sacred Sister Book Club, which is happening on the 6th of April. That's 2 weeks time, and we are going to be studying the chapter on addiction. So that's right up my street, obviously being a recovering addict myself. If you not sure whether you're an addict, you think you might be an addict, you want to find out more information about addiction, this is not just about drinking drugs and substances. This can be people, it can be shopping, it can be relationships, it can be sex, it can be so many different things. Addiction is not just about drinking drugs. So if you think that you might be addicted, if you find yourself in, for me, it was dysfunctional relationships. I kept finding myself in dysfunctional relationships. I also got chronic codependency issues. So if you relate to any of that and you want some support and you want to find out a bit more about what addiction is and all the rest of it, come to the next book club on the Saturday the 6th of April. It's 9:30 till 11:30, 5 minutes from Bond Street Tube if you can make it live. If you cannot make it live, there will still be an opportunity for you to again get access to. It won't be a replay because obviously I don't record the actual live show itself, the live event itself. But I do. The attendees get heart work, which is kind of like journal prompts and stuff like that. So they get those, and then I also record a couple of extra audios as well to kind of walk people through the questions. And then there's often stuff inside the live event. Where we don't always have enough time to kind of go through all of the questions or for me to answer them. So what I do is I take the questions away and then I record the audio, and then that goes with the heart work. So if you're interested in purchasing that, that is also going to be available as well. So click the link in the bio, heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net to find out more information. Go to the Sister Circle page and it will take you there. Right, so that's the housekeeping for today. So for those of you that think that you might know someone who might be interested in this topic that has a difficult relationship with their mum, forward it to them, tag them, let them know. The other thing that I would say is if there's anything that I say today that you don't understand or you've got questions about anything, drop the question in the comments. If you don't feel comfortable dropping it in the comments, then you can send me a direct message. And I will, I'll answer the question. Now, I understand that this is a public platform and not everybody kind of wants, all of their business on social media. So if that's you, and you obviously, I totally respect that. So send me a DM. You don't have to, suffer in silence around this stuff. Send me a direct message and I will answer your question. The third thing is, if there's anything that I say that, that resonates with you, let me know what your takeaways are, because it's important for me to understand that I am delivering stuff that's adding value, that's helping you to, deal with your issues and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good for me to know that I'm on the right track. So if there's anything that I say that really resonates with you and, you're going to go home with some takeaways from this broadcast, then obviously drop that as well, because it's good for me to understand that. Right, so those are the three things that three requests I have in this broadcast. So let's get into the content. So today's topic is all about 3 essential questions that wounded daughters need to ask themselves. And the first question is, what happened last year? What happened last year, Mother's Day? Did you feel that your mother was appreciative of you? Did you feel safe? Did you feel heard? Or was it just a trauma fest? Was it just a nightmare? Was she disrespectful? Were you ignored? Because quite often we can go into, Mother's Day thinking that, buying cards and doing what your mum expects you to do and making her feel good. It's almost like sometimes we can stay in that fantasy of thinking that that's going to wave a magic wand and it's going to fix all of the relationship just by doing that. And quite often that's just another form of abandoning yourself, because that's just fantasy or denial around the truth around, what's happening in the relationship. Maybe you didn't really set boundaries or whatever last year. You just kind of got caught up in the whole pressure. There's still a lot of taboo around this topic, especially in the Black community. Nobody wants to admit that their mum, didn't do her job. Nobody wants to say that. And the fact that, Black people have already got enough stuff to deal with already in terms of living under the system of racism, it's just another thing that is just a lot to take on. It's just a lot to take on. But I always say to people that, the revolution doesn't really start with dealing with the white man, those people that are out there that choose to practice racism. The revolution actually begins in your own home. It begins in your heart. It begins with your own self. We can't expect to deal with the stuff that's going on socially if we're not willing to look at the stuff that's going on in our own homes. So, this stuff around Mother's Day and just thinking, the bigger picture is being honest about the relationship with your mum and the impact that it has on you. It's about self-respect at the end of the day. It begins with your self-respect. So, I wanted to, the whole point of doing these, getting you to ask yourself these questions is to help you to not just to react to Mother's Day, not just to kind of do what you think is expected of you, and, create a more compassionate response for you for the day, so that, you are actually part of that conversation. Just because it's called Mother's Day doesn't mean that you have to abandon your needs or abandon, any historical stuff that was difficult for you to deal with. It's just as important for you to think about your needs in that relationship, especially if the relationship has been challenging in the past or currently challenging, and that's question number 2. Number 2 is, what is the relationship like now? What is the relationship like now? Is it safe? Do you think that you're still in fantasy around that relationship? This time last year, I was very busy doing that. I did a Mother's Day kind of boot camp thing, and so I was very, very kind of, that was quite an intense time and I kind of threw myself into my work. I realise now that, that's how I kind of dealt with it. Don't think I had any contact with my mum then. Actually, I think I was still in no contact, and it's always a difficult time. Last year was a difficult time for me. I wasn't having any whether I'm in contact with my mum or not. Mother's Day is always going to bring up. It's going to trigger feelings from the past. It's going to trigger stuff, because my inner child is always going to be, having that natural yearning to want to be around my mum and to hear from her and stuff. And and it's my responsibility as somebody that's recovering and healing from a lot of this stuff to kind of make the call and take care of my inner child. My inner child is not supposed to run the show. That's what happens when you're not in the healing process, is your inner child will end up doing things and that are unsafe, because the inner child wants to keep reconciling all the time, regardless of whether the mum's unavailable or not, because that's primal. That's primal, a lot of that stuff. So, it's important to for us to be able to ignite and bring in our inner mother, in order to take care of our inner children, So part of that process is being honest about the relationship that we currently have with our mothers, and if it still feels safe. Our boundaries needed. Our boundaries going to be needed in this Mother's Day, and I know a lot of us struggle with boundaries because of the that whole pull of and the guilt as well, the guilt around and the shame, because of the taboo and stuff like that in the community. That kind of often keeps us getting pulled back into the relationship, or not setting appropriate boundaries for us that keep us safe and that keep us, feeling sane around what's happening. So, yeah, it's important to think about these things. In the actual workshop that I'm going to be doing on Saturday, I'm going to be sharing 15 different tools that you can use on the day, different things that you can do to piece together what feels safe for you. So you don't have to do all of those 15 things, obviously. But these are just a lot of suggestions that I've used over the years that have really worked well for me to keep me safe. And also, a lot of the tools that I'm going to be sharing are things that actually still respect my mum. It's about, just because, there were things that I found really difficult about the relationship, it doesn't mean that, that I have to be disrespectful to her or anything like that. It's still important to keep your side of the street clean. And that's the whole thing that I love about the recovery process, the healing process, is that regardless of how other people behave, what's important is that you keep your side of the street clean and you do the right thing. And it doesn't mean that you have to do what the other person wants or, being codependent and stuff in that sense. It just means that you set the appropriate boundaries and you allow that other person to have their own experience and to experience the consequences of their behaviour without you feeling like you have to control it. It's letting go of control, surrendering to the process and surrendering to the fact that you don't actually have control over the other person. You don't have control over them. You only have control over yourself and your reactions to that person. So no matter how much you desperately want to change your mum and you want it to be a certain way, you absolutely have no control over that. So, the whole thing around, that's why, it was important for me to kind of list and have so many tools and stuff for you to choose from, because everybody's going to feel different about Mother's Day. Everybody's going to feel different about, the relationship with their mum. It's complex. It's complex. So it's important that you have options. It's important that you have options to be able to choose from, and to adapt those options to what is going to feel safe for you. So honesty around where you are in the relationship with your mum now is really, really important, because that's going to obviously have an impact on how you what decisions you make about celebrating Mother's Day this year. So number one was what did actually happen last year, and number two is, what is the relationship like now? And the third and last question is, do you even want to celebrate it this year? Based on the previous two questions, do you even want to celebrate it? Because actually you don't have to. You don't have to be pressured into it just because society says that you have to do it, because people say, oh, you have to respect your mum. No, you don't. If you're a wounded daughter, you respect your mum, yes, in from a human perspective, but you don't respect her in the sense that you abandon all of your own needs for hers. You don't have to abandon your own needs. That's codependency. That's not respect. You have to respect yourself first. You have to respect yourself first. That's what's important. That's what's important. And it's important to also understand that, there are people out there that are going to say things. They're going to have their own opinion about it, and it's normally the people that haven't experienced this sort of thing, and so they're giving you their advice, their judgment, or whatever, based on something that they know nothing about. So you have the right to, not engage with those people that are going to say things that are upsetting, that are going to try and shame you into behaving or guilt trip you into into getting involved in Mother's Day and contacting your mum or whatever, when it just doesn't feel safe for you. Don't have those conversations with those people. Just don't do it, because you're just going to end up getting yourself upset, So it's important for you to make that decision about what actually does feel safe for you on Mother's Day, and not what other people's expectations are. So you can choose not to celebrate it if you don't want to. You can choose to not do it. You're not obligated to anyone. And this is another part of in the second part of the webinar that I'll be doing on Saturday. I do go into a lot more detail around, well, actually what you can do. What do you do on the day? And how do you deal with people asking you different things about it? How to just keep yourself safe without having to go into loads of detail and all of that kind of stuff in the conversations. I'll be going into that in a lot more detail in the webinar. So if you're interested in that, if you have a difficult relationship with your mum and you want some support around it, and you want some more detail around how you can really take care of yourself, which you deserve, then go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. So those are the three things, 3 questions. What happened last year? What's the relationship like today? And do you even want to celebrate it at all? Those are all choices that you are well within your rights to make as a wounded daughter, and not get sidetracked by anybody else's expectations. You have the right to do that. You absolutely 100% have the right to do that, and do not let anybody manipulate you into thinking anything else. Find a safe space for you to be able to do that. If you do come to the workshop on Saturday, there would actually be there's a private Facebook group as well with other sisters that have gone through a lot of the same things as you. So myself included. So and so it's a safe space for you to be able to share and get support from other ladies as well, and you won't be judged. You won't be judged for it. So that's it. So if you know anybody who is interested in either the workshop or anything that I've shared about in this broadcast today, then tag them, email them, let them know that there is help out there and they don't have to deal with this stuff on their own, because it's very isolating for a lot of women they just tend to go into shame and isolation and don't really want to have this conversation because it's taboo in our community. And I think it's important for people to know that you do have the right to heal. You've got the right to set boundaries. You've got the right to take care of yourself as needed. There was a lady on my Instagram timeline the other day, she was saying about how, I wish people would just appreciate their mothers. I wish I could, basically her mum had passed, and so it was triggering for her. Her mum had passed away, and she just, she missed her mum. And I was able to just say to her respectfully, look, if you obviously had a good relationship with your mum, and that's great. But that's not, you can't put that on everybody else who doesn't have that experience. I always tell people, if it's not happened to you, then you need to just stay out of the conversation. Stay out of the conversation, because you don't understand what it's like to be in that sort of dynamic and to go through the healing process and not feel judged and and all the rest of it, you know. So it's important that, and this is one of the reasons why I always talk about this stuff around Mother's Day, because I think, you know, these topics of conversation are hard enough as it is. So it's important for me to let ladies know that they're not by themselves, and that they don't have to go through this themselves, and that there are tools that you can use, that there is, you know, there is healing. There is healing. I'm not in anywhere near as much trauma I was, you know, in previous Mother's Days. You know, just feeling really depressed and abandoned and, you know, ashamed and just wanting to isolate, and angry as well, like the rage as well, just so much anger around it, you know. But thank goodness I don't feel like that today, because I've got tools, I've got ways of taking care of myself, and I have a village now that I use that supports me around this stuff. So yeah, it's just important for me to share that. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't take for granted that you choose to spend time with me today. So thank you for everyone who's also watching on the replay. I see you. I hear you. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye. Oh, sorry, you're picking my nose on the broadcast. Oh dear. Sorry, I had an itch.